long before the rise of the magnificent Angkor Empire, before towering stone temples reached for the heavens, before kings carved their divine legacies into the very earth, there existed a forgotten brotherhood, known only in whispers, the Seri Khmer, the Silent Guardians. These were not just warriors, they were healers, protectors, and mystics who defended the ancient Khmer lands for centuries, long before written history began, and among them lived a young warrior, whose destiny would one day shake both the living world and the spirit realm to their very foundations. His name was Dara. Dara lived in a small, humble village perched on the edge of the Great Prey, Tom Forest. He was not born into a noble family. He had no wealth, no special training, only a fierce heart and an unyielding desire to protect those he loved. But lately, the forest had grown strange. The air felt heavy, and an unsettling silence had fallen over the ancient trees. Animals, once plentiful, now fled before sunset. The trees themselves seemed to whisper, as if they remembered something painful, something best left buried. And each night, from his small hut, Dara saw it, a faint glowing shape deep in the woods, a phantom light that seemed to beckon to him, calling his name on the wind. One evening, as twilight painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, an elder from his village approached him. The old man's face was etched with worry. "Dara," he said, his voice trembling slightly, "a darkness stirs beneath the old land. We feel it in our bones. We need someone brave, someone with a strong heart, to investigate." Though he felt a knot of fear tighten in his stomach, Dara looked at the worried faces of his people and knew he couldn't refuse. He volunteered. As the first rays of dawn pierced the morning mist, he entered Pratom. The mist swirled around him, thick and cold, muffling all sound. The deeper he walked, the more ancient the forest felt, as if he were stepping backward through time, into another age entirely. The air grew heavy with the scent of damp earth and forgotten magic. After hours of walking through the dense, tangled jungle, Dara reached a hidden ruin, a place almost completely swallowed by gnarled vines and the roots of colossal trees. On a massive moss-covered stone wall, there was a carving. It depicted a warrior, proud and resolute, holding a spear toward the rising sun. But the strange part, the part that made his blood run cold, was that the warrior in the carving looked exactly like him. The same eyes, the same jawline, the same determined expression. Before he could even begin to process this impossible discovery, the ground beneath him trembled violently. A deep crack split open in the earth, right below the carving, revealing a dark, underground passage filled with a dim, pulsating blue light. A strange energy seemed to hum from the depths. Hesitantly, but driven by an unseen force, Dara descended into the darkness. Inside the subterranean chamber, an old monk waited. He was seated in silent meditation, his robes worn and frayed by time, his eyes glowing with a faint, otherworldly light. "I have been waiting for you," the monk said, his voice a low, resonant hum that seemed to echo in Dara's very soul. "My name is Vanek, the last watcher of the Silent Guardians." Dara's heart pounded against his ribs. The Silent Guardians. The legends his grandmother used to tell. He thought they were just stories. Why me?" he stammered, his voice barely a whisper. Vanek raised a trembling hand, gesturing to the carvings that lined the chamber walls. Each one depicted ancient warriors locked in epic battles against shadowy, formless creatures. "This land," Vanek explained, "was once protected by forgotten heroes. Their spirits still sleep beneath us, bound to the earth they swore to defend. But something dark has begun to stir, something that is awakening them from their slumber." A cold sensation, colder than the forest mist, crawled up Dara's spine. "Awaken. As in, they're returning." Vanek nodded solemnly, his glowing eyes filled with a deep sorrow. "Yes, and if the wrong spirit rises first, if a soul twisted by ages of solitude is the first to answer the call, then both our world and the spirit realm will fall into chaos." He looked directly into Dara's eyes, his gaze piercing and intense. "There is a prophecy that a young warrior with an unbroken spirit will rise to restore the balance between the two realms." Dara shook his head in disbelief. "I'm not a hero, I'm just a boy from a small village. I can't be." Suddenly, the chamber shook with incredible violence. Dust and stone rained down from the ceiling. A terrifying roar echoed through the tunnel, a sound that was ancient, powerful, and filled with centuries of pain and rage. Vanek's face went pale. He whispered, his voice grave, "It has begun." From the far end of the cave, a massive figure emerged from the stone itself. It was a warrior spirit, clad in ancient cracked armor that burned with a malevolent red energy. His eyes glowed, not with heroism, but with sorrow and uncontrollable rage. He was one of the forgotten heroes, one of the ancient protectors, but he had been awakened too soon. And his spirit was corrupted, twisted by centuries of abandonment and solitude. "Who disturbs my slumber?" the spirit roared, his voice shaking the very foundations of the earth. Dara froze, his spear feeling like a useless stick in his hand. The spirit raised his massive, spectral blade, preparing to strike. But before the corrupted hero could attack, a woman stepped between them. Her hands were glowing with a soft, silver light. It was Sophia, a healer from the village, who had secretly followed Dara into the forest, worried for his safety. Her voice, though quiet, was calm and steady. "Dara, run. He's not fully awakened, his spirit is lost. He doesn't know what he's doing." But Dara didn't run. He looked at Sophia, standing bravely before the raging spirit, and then at the path back to his village. A surge of resolve washed over him. Instead of retreating, he stepped forward to stand beside her. He gripped his spear tightly, his knuckles white. "I won't abandon you," he said, his voice clear and strong. "And I won't abandon our land." The corrupted spirit let out another earth-shattering roar and charged. And at that exact moment, as death itself rushed toward them, Dara felt something awaken deep inside his chest. A small, warm spark. It was ancient. It was powerful. It was the spark of a guardian. A new age was dawning, not in a grand palace, but in a dark cave, with a young man who was about to discover the hero he was always meant to be. Thank you for watching this epic beginning. If you want to see how Dara's journey unfolds, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We've got so much more of this story to tell. We'll see you in the next chapter.